You guys have been asking about the bacon-wrapped hot dog vendors. What has happened to them? What has happened to their plight on Mission Street in San Francisco? Well, had a little protest last weekend. Last Friday, had a little protest from Mission Street down to City Hall. What happened? You're going to find out. Here we go. Let's get into it. San Francisco Mission District vendors march against temporary ban. Now, if you haven't been following this, and most of you probably haven't, but along Mission Street, it's one of the areas where you've got the illegal markets where people just literally lay stuff out on blankets and sell stolen goods. I mean, you can get anything you want. You're selling stolen goods, you're selling drugs, you're buying drugs, that whole environment. So the city, in their infinite wisdom, LA in their infinite wisdom, said, shut her all down. We're going to do a 90-day closing of this area. Now, what I would say is that there are other areas where the city has said, hey, for you vendors that are legal, you can go here and sell your stuff. But that isn't where all the people are, right? That's a no-go. That's just shooting yourself in the foot, because it's like going, to an area where there's no foot traffic and, hey, somebody come buy my bacon-wrapped hot dog, and there's nobody around. And you're just going to be, okay, I guess I'll sell no bacon-wrapped hot dogs today. So that's what they're complaining about, is that they have been the legal bacon-wrapped hot dog vendors. And when I say that, I'm just saying that as a blanket acronym for all of the legal vendors in San Francisco. They've been lumped in with the drug dealers, with the people selling stolen goods, with the people buying stolen goods. They've been lumped in with all these other entities, and now they're pissed. They're like, this is the holiday season. I should be making some money, but I'm not, because the city's lumped us in with all the other riffraff that with their illegal shenanigans, right? Tomfoolery and ballyhoo. Who knows what they've got going on? Well, we know what they've got going on, but it's not good. Hey, let's watch a little video. Let's see what we got going on.
Held news conferences, they've had silent protests. Now some vendors in San Francisco are taking complaints about a vending ban right to City Hall. They've been trying to get that new ban delayed after the holidays. NBC Barry's 𝗧𝗠𝗘𝗠𝗧𝗏 has details on their latest strategy.
Don't do it during Christmas. There we go.
Several members of the city's Street Vendors Association marched from Mission Street to City Hall today. They agree Mission Street has become violent and even deadly because of illicit sales by illegal vendors. But the members of this group, made up of vendors who have legal permits from the city to operate, say they are not the problem.
It's kind of hard to say. It's real complicated because the city make us look like criminals. We are not criminals. We are families.
No.
At prior protests,
bacon-wrapped hot dogs. Come on now.
Supervisor 𝗲𝗓𝗄𝗏. Today, they're trying to get the attention of Mayor London Breed. Organizers say a complete ban on vending is a result of little to no coordination with the people who would be directly affected.
They put this, top-down policy where it's 90-day ban, right? And they didn't think about all the actual implications and damage that would be done as a result of it. Otherwise, they would have prepared ahead of time.
In an effort to get their issues heard, the Mission Street vendors took their demonstration into City Hall. They took their list of concerns to Supervisor 𝗲𝗓𝗄𝗏's office. No one was there, so they dropped their list into the mail slot. At the
nobody there. Dark office. Middle of the day.
Who quietly received their
Look at this guy.
Then went back to his desk. The vendors had hoped for.
I'm just going to sit down here, away from you.
Well, it was kind of sad, but at least we express ourselves and we raise our voices.
Rodrigo Lopez says the Mission Street vending ban has been devastating for him. He moved to a spot off of Mission Street, but his customers don't know where to find him, so his sales have plummeted. Mayor London Breed says her office just met this week with Supervisor Ronan's office to try and figure out some remedies for the vendors.
We don't want them to be penalized financially because of all the other stuff that's going on.
According to the mayor's office, they've recently modified qualifications for a $1,000 grant, which now makes most permitted vendors eligible. The 90-day ban on street vending was imposed as an emergency because of illegal sales of often stolen items. And
I'm going to interrupt just this one time. $1,000 for 3 months. It doesn't, it's better than nothing, But when your livelihood is dependent upon selling lots of bacon wrapped hot dogs, maybe with some LT in there, BLT, with some lettuce and tomato, you got a BLT hot dog. I mean, that just sounds delicious, doesn't it? $1,000 over the course of 3 months. When you can't sell, your goods, that's a no-go.
Last month, a vendor was killed by another vendor. In San Francisco, 𝗪𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗜𝗨𝗠, NBC, Bay Area News.
Oh, there's a hot dog. Oh, we almost had a sighting of a bacon wrapped hot dog. Sidewalk vendors in San Francisco's Mission District came together Friday to push back against a temporary ban. Small business owners say the temporary ban on street vendors in the neighborhood is crippling them. Several members of the city's Street Vendors Association marched from Mission Street to San Francisco City Hall, not that far away. I would have marched with them. Absolutely. I think this is unfair. But from the city's point of view, they're like, okay, we've got to clear this area out. And if we have some legal people in there, it's going to attract the illegal folks selling good, who knows what, just willy-nilly. Let's put up a blanket and we'll be selling some stuff that we just stole from the store down the street. Sell some stuff we just stole from the condo up the street. Sell some stuff from wherever. That's what's going on. So because there's no enforcement, the city just came out and said, everybody, you're gone. And there's a map you can see. And, down the middle of Mission Street, it's a no-go. Further out, literally on sidewalks of adjoining streets, it's a go. You can do it. But there's this area on Mission Street that they've basically just ixnay on selling anything. No go. They agree Mission Street has become violent and even deadly because of illicit sales by illegal vendors. But the members of one group made up of vendors, the bacon wrapped hot dogs. There's probably not even, maybe there is within this group. I don't know. I haven't confirmed it at all. But we love the concept of bacon wrapped hot dogs, so we're going to run with that. So the legal permits from the bacon wrapped hot dog vendors from the city to operate them, they say, are not the problem. It's kind of hard to say. It's really complicated because the city makes us look like criminals. We heard the guy say that, and it does. But because the city is so overrun with just basic nonsense, you can see, you go to somebody's office. Yeah, they're not there. Hey, we're during office hours here. What are you doing? And the one guy, he just kind of walks back to his desk. Good Lord, this isn't my day. Why did I have to be here today and accept these guys' demands? Which is they just want to sell their damn bacon wrapped hot dogs, right? Let's be honest. And how hard is that? Well, apparently right now it's pretty hard because the city has let Mission Street just go into this deplorable situation where you just let anybody sell anything. And then the bacon wrapped hot dog vendors get picked upon indiscriminately. We are not criminals. We are family, said street vendor Rodrigo Lopez. So vendors operating under the law are getting caught in the fight between the city and people who are selling food without permits, stolen goods, and sometimes threatening the public works employees who are in charge of enforcing the rules because they're up to no good. So we've lumped in the shenanigans with the non-shenanigans, right? And the city doesn't have the ability to enforce this. How do they not have the ability? They can enforce it if they want to. They just don't want to because it's a hassle. You have to go out there every day, and then you're going to have code enforcement. You're going to have to call in the cops. We got a guy selling stolen goods here. It's just a mess. And the reason this is a mess and it's impacting honest, hardworking folks is because things have just gotten away from LA, just like they have in areas of Seattle, Portland, San Fran, you name it, right? You name it. LA. It's just, it's not acceptable, but it's the world we live in where your regular street vendors who have a permit, who've paid for it, now can no longer use the space that they are legally permitted for. Like, nope, you're bad apple. You got to go. But wait a minute. What about my bacon wrapped hot dogs? Although the city rented space for some of them to operate during the 90-day ban, one man said he's making 200 sales a week instead of 200 sales a day. So he's down his sales are down 90%, something like that. I don't know what that number is. So maybe he's working 5 days a week. That's 1,000. So now his sales are down 80%, right? 200 from 1,000. Yeah. That's you can't make a living doing that. But this is a temporary ban. We'll have to see what it looks like. But I guarantee you, I think somebody listens to these guys because everybody loves a good hot dog. I was at Costco this weekend. Oh, Costco during the holidays. Just a lot of people. And I was there with my girlfriend. She was doing some exchanges. Or no, she was just taking stuff back. I can't even remember what it was. But man, I was eyeing the hot dogs. And the reason I don't get them is because I just don't need it. But the hot dog for $1.50 at Costco with a large drink, that's a deal. And that is a deal. But there's always such a big line, which is probably good because otherwise I probably would have had one and been just out the door. So delicious. At prior protests and demonstrations, they've gone after Mission District Supervisor Hilary Ronan. I believe that was the first office they went to where there was nobody there. Yeah, looks like it's all closed up. On Friday, they were trying to get the attention of Mayor London Breed. They went there as well. That was the guy sitting down. I'm just going to go sit down and take your paperwork and sit at my desk and pretend you're not here. Organizers say a complete ban on vending is the result of little to no coordination with the people who would be directly affected. San Francisco's government had little or no coordination with people who would be directly affected. I am shocked, right? I mean, with everything else going on in San Francisco, this is one of those stories that I'm willing to get behind. Everything else that's going on is just such a shit show. I mean, it just simply is. In an effort to get their message heard, the Mission Street vendors took their demonstration into San Francisco City Hall. They took their list of concerns to Ronan's office. Okay, that was Ronan's office at the end. Oh, yeah, it is. No one was there, so they dropped their list onto the mail slot. Boop. And somebody took it from the mail slot and boop, dropped it into the round garbage can, right? No, I'm sure they're looking at it because this story has been getting some action. It's been getting some traction and everybody wants to know about it because they're like, what happened to the bacon wrapped hot dog vendors? At the mayor's office, the group presented their list of concerns to a front office attendant who quietly received their list. Then they went back to his desk. Okay. Are we they, them, or his or her? I don't even know. No, I think that's just a typo, right? Then he went back to his desk. I mean, would be another way to, I don't even know, right? The vendor, when you're 55 years old and you're not really sure what you're supposed to read. Yeah, that kind of becomes a problem, doesn't it? The vendor said they had hoped for more of a response from the mayor's office. Well, good luck with that. Well, it was kind of sad, but at least we expressed ourselves and we raised our voices, Lopez said. Lopez added the Mission Street vending ban has been devastating for him. He moved to a spot off Mission Street, but his customers don't know where to find him. Okay, so that's some of what I wanted to talk about. You get in a routine. People have their normal routine. They come down from their big high-rise building. They come from their store. They're coming from wherever. They want to get their bacon wrapped hot dog. And now all of a sudden they roll up and there's just like, tape outlining the area. No vending here. You're not selling anything here. And so you don't know. Are you going to Google where they're at? I mean, I don't know. Are you going to be able to find them? Because most of these hot dog vendors, they are not, hey, we're stuck here at one location. They've got kind of a general area that they'll set up shop on. But if you can't find them, you're not going to be just running all over San Francisco. Have you seen Rodrigo? He's got my bacon wrapped hot dog with some lettuce and tomato on it, the BLT hot dog. He's got that one. Have you seen him? Do you know who I'm talking about? No, I don't. We don't want, so Breed said on Thursday that her office just met this week with Ronan's office to try and figure out some remedies for the vendors. I get what the city's trying to do, but they lumped all the good guys in with the bad guys. And the good guys in this case, they've got bacon wrapped hot dogs. So, yeah. Man, I really hope there's somebody in there that is selling the bacon wrapped hot dogs. But from the background check that I kind of did, it seemed like a lot of them, if they were hot dog vendors, bacon wrapped hot dog vendor was an option. So it didn't seem like it was truly just there's one guy out there doing it. It seems like there was a bunch of them. And I've heard this, but I haven't physically experienced a bacon wrapped hot dog. But when I do go down to San Francisco, that's the first thing I'm doing. You got any bacon wrapped hot dogs? Because we're doing that. We're doing a big one up there. Just give me one of those. Give me one of those bad boys, because I've been talking about it for so long. According to the mayor's office, they recently modified qualifications for a $1,000 grant, which now makes most permitted vendors eligible. So it's never been about trying to squash the good guy. It's always, well, we got to get everybody out of here. And, you know, with the footage that I've seen of what this site on Mission looked like, I mean, it's an open air drug market. That's what it is. It's an open air drug market. Throw a little prostitution in there, throw some fentanyl, throw some meth, throw some cocaine, you name it, throw some stolen goods. So it was just this mess, right? And so the city is like, okay, there's no way that we can police this on a daily basis. They've got their hands full with just so many sites around the city that without dedicated cops to this area, it's a no-go. So they basically said, scrap everybody. You guys that have permits, you can work over here. Well, that's just not working out, because this is where they need to be selling their hot dogs. This is the high visibility corridor. This is Mission Street, right? Everybody's heard of Mission Street. Well, at least I have. At least you have, because we cover a lot of stuff on Mission Street because, yeah, shenanigans. So I get it. The city's trying to do something. All right. But, you know, they did a one size all, you know, approach to criminality. And it's hurting the people that we support, namely the bacon wrapped hot dog vendors. So what's going to happen? I bet you it takes a week or two. But before Christmas comes, I think Mayor London Breed will come up with something. I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe they get to operate a little bit closer. Maybe they get some kind of special sign out in front. Only people with those kind of signs can operate on Mission Street. Because when you see the police clear out these areas, they clear them out, you know, the next cycle. So most of the time it's in the afternoon when these addicts and these, you know, common criminals with all their shenanigans and tomfoolery, when they're setting up, it's mid-afternoon and they just get going at evening because, you know, criminals don't get up at 6. Well, I need to be set up by 7:30 a.m. when all the other drug addicts are getting up and looking to buy their stuff. It's an afternoon/evening deal, right? These are not early risers. But the hot dog vendors, they're there well before everybody else because they want to catch that early lunch crowd, right? Guaranteed they're there. But here in Seattle, when you see one of these sweeps happen, it's literally the next day. So you're not talking next morning, you're talking next afternoon. So they get swept out and, you know, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. They'll be back the next day unless there's a cop telling them, hey, no go, you can't be here. This is not, you cannot operate here. So, you know, it's that whack-a-mole. All right, we're going to push them away for a day and then they come back. And what happens is the illegal vendors, they just go like a block away. They just go somewhere as close as they can be physically. And that's what the hot dog vendors have been told to do and given areas to do it in. And I've looked at the map. The other areas are close by. But they're not the high corridor. They're not the high traffic areas. And they're also not an area where people are used to going to get their delicious bacon wrapped hot dog, preferably with lettuce and tomato. It's not there. People are rolling up going, where's my hot dog? Where's my guy? And nobody's there. So that is what these vendors are complaining about. And you saw people that were selling like, you know, Native American goods and clothes, anything you can think of. There's a vibrant market for this. There's a vibrant market for it in Seattle. It's called Pike Place Market. So that's set up a little bit differently. But these are truly just straight up street vendors. And I think they are being shafted. So I kind of had thought about, you know, do we podcast on this? And I think I had 3 people this morning send me messages or make comments in the premiere this morning. What about the hot dog vendors? Here you go. Their concerns are possibly being addressed. We don't really know. But hey, All right, so that's that one, but we're going to go for a bonus round here. Okay, so don't leave. I got something good. Scottish fiddler gets beloved violin back after theft while touring in Portland. I'm going to give this back to you. Look at that guy. Look at how happy that damn guy is. He got his fiddle back. He got his violin back. This is the guy, world-class fiddler. And his partner, his musical partner that he tours with, she got her cello jacked, her big bass cello. Is that the word? Is that how we say it? I think so. And you guys all joked, well, it was too damn big to haul around. So they recovered that one shortly after it was stolen. These people had their car broken into and all their stuff gone. But this guy, his violin, it was stolen and he literally left. He flew out of Portland. He was like, I'm never going to see that again. Let's cut to the, we'll cut to the good part here. Frazier said having his violin back in his hands has reignited his passion and he plans to play with extra vigor. He mentioned that he already has all kinds of ideas, including a song and story about his experience. He also said he noticed so much suffering in so many of the cities where he's toured and he wants to see something done about it. We all do. But the governmental entities and the inhabitants who have allowed this to happen somehow feel like compassion is letting people do what they want, which is to abuse themselves with drugs and die in the streets. So yeah, I agree. He wants to see something done about it. So do we all. We all do. So we don't get this kind of desperation on the streets, Frazier said, where people are breaking car windows and people are selling instruments for $40. It's sad commentary on the life we're living. Yeah, the good news starts with David Kerr Violin Shop in Southeast Portland. Let's give David Kerr Violin Shop a shout out. Well done. Who told Frazier that a couple came in and offered to sell them his case with his prized possessions inside. The shop bought it on the spot. So it sounds like they got $40 for the violin. Man, do you think this guy who he's been playing with it, I think it's 3 decades, over 30 years, he's been playing with this instrument. How pumped was this guy to get his violin back? Well done, David Kerr Violin Shop in Southeast Portland. You know, that's one of those things where you're like, okay, job well done. You deserve some business for that. We're going to do a shout out. And yeah, so, you know, not all of these stories have a terrible ending. This guy had to jump through some hoops to get his stuff back. But at the end of the day, how many other bands have we talked about that have not gotten their stuff back? And probably because they're dealing with electric guitars, you know, electric bass, drums, whatever. That stuff, it's not quite as distinctive, right, as a really old violin and a case and, you know, clearly an instrument that somebody would be happy to get back. And the violin store owner, I mean, that just can't be that much of a market, right? It can't be a very big market. So the guy was aware. And when he saw it, he's like, bingo, I can get this back and make somebody happy. So there's a good ending to a story for once. Criminal story that ended up with a happy ending. Merry Christmas, Mr. Violin Specialist guy, world-class violin guy. I think that's great. All right. But that's not how most of the stories here go, right? So enjoy it while it lasts. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.